Hi, 8th graders. Welcome to Makeup Lesson number 9. These are for lessons that took place on Friday, December 6th. And for this lesson, you're going to need your green Standard of Excellence book. If you're a percussionist, go ahead and get your bell kit ready. We're going to play a little mallets today. And two things we're going to accomplish. We're going to do page 6 in your Standard of Excellence book. So that's what page you want to turn to. Again, we're talking about the green one right here, Standard of Excellence. And then we are also going to start by talking a little bit about warming up. Warming up is sometimes underrated, and it's a very, very important part of your practice session. You probably notice in full band, we tend to do some warm-ups before we play as an ensemble, but it's also important to do as an individual before you get into your practice session. Your warm-up can consist of many things, and depending on the instrument you play, it can vary on the different things that you can do. I'll just throw out some things for you right now that I would strongly encourage you to do. For all instruments, you should do long tones. Long tones just simply being notes from a scale that you hold out for a few seconds and then rest for a few seconds in between each one, trying to sustain the nicest sound quality, the nicest tone that you can on each pitch. And you should do those notes in your middle range and then start broadening out into your lower and higher range, probably not going too low or too high in a warm-up session. If you're a percussionist, this could involve doing some paradiddles on the snare drum or some rolls on the snare drum. You can also do some rolls on the mallet instruments just to work on producing a really good tone on whatever instrument that you play. Another thing that you can do are scales. You all know scales. You can do the scales in either one of your method books. Again, that Standard of Excellence book, if you turn back to pages 38 through 40, has a number of scales that you can run through and just play through those scales in different keys, and just work on making sure you're playing the right notes in the key signature and that you're able to produce a good sound and get the low and high notes out as well as your middle range notes. So scales, another really good warm-up that you can do. Another exercise you can do is to work on dynamics or articulations, and you can do this in a number of ways. Again, you could use the scales and just practice playing them really soft or really loud to practice your dynamics. Or you can work on articulations and rhythms by playing those scales with every note being staccato or every note being slurred or accented. You can change your rhythms around. Maybe instead of just playing ta 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 ta, you might go ta 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 ta, or something like that. So then you're working on your rhythmic playing, or we could say for woodwind and brass instruments, your tonguing, ability to tongue fast and clearly. And then there's a number of other warm-ups that are more specific to each instrument. I'll just give you like one for each. On brass, I like to take the slide off, like the tuning slide on a trumpet, baritone, or tuba, or French horn, or on a trombone. I'll take the slide all the way off and just blow through the instrument. We call that blowing on the tube, and just try to sustain a nice tone. If you're playing a woodwind instrument, doing some slurs from your lower octave to your higher octave. So for example, on flute or saxophone, like playing a low G to a high G, and then a low A to a high A. And on clarinet, talking about just doing the same fingering, then adding your register keys. So like a low C to a high G, for example, and just practicing those leaps back and forth. Percussionists working on alternate sticking, going at a slower tempo and working it up to a faster tempo on a snare drum. I already mentioned paradiddles, flams, just some of your basic rudiments to work on a little bit. A chromatic scale on the marimba or bells. So those are some more specific exercises that you can do as well. All right, so make sure you do a warm-up. Next thing I want to do is look at the green book, page 6, and we're going to play through a couple of these songs right now. We're going to start with number 21, the technique break. And notice that it says common or cut time. We're going to do it in common time, so 4/4. And then also notice the articulation pattern on this. In the first line, you have a staccato followed by 2 slurred notes, then a staccato. And it continues like that for every group of 4/8 notes on the first line. And then on the second line, it says simile. And simile, again, when you see that in music, means to continue that same articulation pattern. So you'll still play staccato, then 2 notes slurred, and then staccato. Okay? So this is number 21. I invite you to play along. If you'd like to listen to it first, that's cool too, and then try to play it afterwards. That's fine. 1, 2, ready, go. I'm going to try that again. I'm sorry, I'm playing out of a clarinet book, and my transposition skills here at 6:45 in the morning when I'm recording this are not as good as they should be. So let's try that one more time, shall we? Here's the beginning. Ready? Go. So that's number 21. Number 22, the British Grenadiers. This one is in 2/4 time, same key signature, key of F major, and concert F, that is. And then also check out the rhythms on this song. Again, you might want to listen to this once and then try to play along after that to kind of get it in your head. Because there's a lot of different 16th and 8th note patterns in here that can be a little tricky the first time. So this is the British Grenadiers, number 22. 1, 2, ready, and go. All right, so that's how that goes. Notice I got those slurs in there too, so you got to play those slurs as well through number 22. Here's what I'd like you to do now. I want you to do a recording, and I'll give you 2 options. You may do the first 2 lines of number 21, or you may play all of number 22. Record that and go ahead and send that to me at songerie@district112.org, or you can bring it in on your phone or iPod or a flash drive, and I can listen to that to give you full makeup credit for lesson number 9. So go ahead and practice those 2 songs. Record one for me. Make sure you do those warm-ups, and thanks for listening. Have a great day.